27 years later, before a congressional investigation, Walter P. Thatcher, grand old man of Wall Street.
Walter P. Thatcher serves a fascinating, contradictory role in Citizen Kane,
The journey he made as a youth.
both reinforcing our distance
Trustee by Mrs. Kane.
from the elusive, overwhelming Kane,
I think we shall have to tell him now.
Money-mad pirates.
and also subtly, slyly bringing us closer to feeling like we understand him,
I'll let you in on another little secret, Mr. Thatcher.
often despite Thatcher's own intentions.
Well, that's quite a snowman.
Among the 5 narrators, Thatcher has known Kane for the longest time, and unlike their sequences,
This is Mr. Thatcher, Charles.
his memoirs manage to encompass everything from the little boy playing Civil War games in the snow just a few years after the Union victory,
Be careful, Charles.
to the old man signing away much of his fortune as the Roaring Twenties comes crashing down.
Depression, temporary. There's always the chance that you'll die richer than I will.
It's a cinch I'll die richer than I was born.
Merry Christmas.
Thatcher himself ages too, of course,
And a Happy New Year.
and yet the relatively youthful banker in the fur coat seems to be generations removed from the boy.
Come. I'm not as frightening as all that, am I?
Whereas by their final scene together,
What would you like to have been?
they appear to be almost peers, much against Kane's will.
Everything you hate.
Unlike Kane, but similarly to the other narrators, Thatcher never really changes. He's a constant, against which we can judge our protagonist's own transformations. In this case, that constant is stuffy, hard-headed, and always in an exasperated rage. We're encouraged to laugh at Thatcher as a foil for his mischievous ward. And in this way, we're drawn closer to identifying with Kane than we have up to this point in the movie. The opening montage is, in a linear sense, the only time Citizen Kane really privileges us with unmediated, non-flashback contact with this character. Yet, in extreme close-up and gothic silhouette, he appears as a monstrous, incomprehensible figure. The newsreel, on the other hand, bombards us with information,
Twice married, twice divorced.
clarifying the almost abstract forms that we were just introduced to, yet leaving us even more frustratingly removed.
Died 1918 in a motor accident with their son.
It's Thatcher who finally allows us to glimpse the human being beneath the monument,
His 25th birthday.
poignantly helpless,
Yes, dear Wheeler, you provide the prose poems. I'll provide the war.
defiantly triumphant,
I might have been a really great man.
and ultimately
Don't you think you are?
still resistant while also resigned.
I think I did pretty well under the circumstances.
And what Thatcher offers us is the idea of this great man as a spoiled, ungrateful brat. But because Thatcher is so unsympathetically old-fashioned,
I think it would be fun to run a newspaper.
a 19th century figure overcome by the 20th century energy of Kane,
On the other hand, I am the publisher of the Inquirer. As such, it's my duty, and I'll let you in on a little secret. It's also my pleasure.
and because of the way these scenes are written, performed, composed, and edited, we side with Kane rather than the person who's supposed to be dictating our point of view.
Well, Charles.
The film openly mocks Thatcher's pomposity, formally with gestures like Bernard Herrmann's score,
The directors of the Thatcher Memorial Library.
and also within the text itself. If Kane's Baroque grandeur is both absorbing and vulgar, the forced classicism of Thatcher's sensibility feels stifling and sterile.
All I want under no circumstances are direct quotations from his manuscript to be used by you.
And Thatcher's ability to persuade us is also limited by the fact that he can only convey his impressions in a text read inside of a vault,
Jennings?
rather than by direct appeal himself, unlike the other narrators.
That's why he's going to be brought up where you can't get at him.
We're also allowed moments beyond Thatcher's gaze and grasp inside of this sequence. Although Thatcher does get way more screen time, our approach to the central character remains steady, cautious, and slowly paced, reducing Kane largely to cameo appearances
Which means we're bust.
in his own origin story. This behind-the-newspaper reveal is essentially our first real introduction to Charles Foster Kane the man, after 25 minutes of dancing around the subject.
Too old to call me Mr. Thatcher, Charles.
You're too old to be called anything else. You were always too old.
Elements of the sets themselves tease us with Kane's nearness, utilizing Greg Toland's mastery of deep focus photography
Go on, Mr. Thatcher.
before removing him from our grasp.
Throw that junk.
And of course, the film's big secret, Rosebud, is openly flaunted and cleverly buried in the same moment. The perfect descent into the mystery of Kane. Kane's tragic childhood is an intriguing invention of the screenplay by Wells and Herman Mankiewicz.
How to boarding house keeper Mary Kane.
Will's mother, Phoebe Hearst, was passionately devoted to her only son.
Considering that their obvious inspiration, media mogul William Randolph Hearst, was born to previously wealthy parents.
The first things we know about William Randolph Hearst are the things he wanted.
Who lived into his own adulthood.
He asked his mother to buy him the Louvre. That he couldn't have. His palace would have to wait.
But aside from this parental anachronism, their early years are the most in sync.
Do you know anything we could use against them?
Still the college boy, aren't you?
Oh, no, Mr. Thatcher. I was expelled from college. A lot of colleges, you remember.
Will Hearst was on his way to flunking out of Harvard when he decided what he really wanted was a poor San Francisco newspaper his dad happened to own.
One item on your list intrigues me, the New York Inquirer. A little newspaper I understand we acquired in a foreclosure proceeding.
Charles? Yes, Mummy?
Here, however, in this moment,
Mr. Thatcher's going to take you on a trip with him tonight.
they radically
You'll be
diverge.
leaving on number 10.
That's the train with all the lights on it.
You going, Mom?
Well, no, your mother won't be going right away, Charles, but she'll...
But Wells seldom talked about the hard central facts. His parents separated by the time he was 6. His mother died when he was 9.
Orson Welles, unlike Hearst, did have a guardian after he was orphaned.
I've been through that stuff of Walter Thatcher's, that journal of his.
Thatcher. That man was the biggest darn fool I ever met.
But that guardian was no Thatcher.
Well, it's no trick to make a lot of money. All you want is to make a lot of money.
In fact, Wells would name another character after his real-life guardian, Bernstein.
It wasn't money he wanted. Thatcher never did figure him out. Sometimes even I couldn't.